Hello and welcome to CLMB's Cracked Knuckle Productions. My name is Chris, and this is Project Weyard. If you are new and asking yourself, what is Project Weyard? Let me explain. Project Weyard combines my hobby as a fantasy cartographer, where I study and make maps, with my adoration of the Golden Sun games. Once I'm finished with this map, I plan on giving people access to a file that will include the finished map of Weyard to use as they please. So, with that said, let me introduce to you today's topic, the music of Weyard. In my last video, I asked for your take on what songs stood out to you most, and I'll also share with you a few of the songs that stand out to me. And yes, for those of you who have been following, today's topic isn't necessarily new. In the 8th episode of this series, I wrote about how this game's music has had such an impact on me. However, because that video wasn't narrated, I feel that this topic should be revisited, so here we are. I expect that this video will be my longest so far, so if you want to skip to that part where I list my favorite songs or covers, please skip to the timecode indicated below. But if you want, let me share with you how important music has been for this project. And let me be honest, when all things are said and done, I don't think I would be here making these videos if it wasn't for the music that has been made by the Golden Sun community over these past 20 years. I say this because I believe music has that power to bring you back to a time and place like few other forces in our world. And I believe that music can be inspiring and move people to create and try new things. I believe that it was around 2015 when Sam Dillard began to release several covers from the much beloved game Chrono Trigger. And I had been made aware of the game's music back in the mid or late 2000s by a friend. And though I liked the music, I don't think I even knew what these tracks belonged to. However, sometime within the last 5 or 6 years, I started to watch speedruns of the game. And one thing that I was hearing many people talk about was their love of the game's soundtrack. One thing led to another, and I started to look for covers of these tracks, and it was then that I found Sam's covers. And connecting these tunes to the ones that I had in my music library, mwah. So, I finally bought the game and played it for the first time and loved it. And I kept returning to Sam's channel to see what new masterpieces he was working on. Then, in July 2020, he released his cover of The Elemental Stars, and that floored me. However, it took me nearly 2 months to realize that he wasn't alone in this endeavor to recreate the music from these games, and that OC Remix had published an album for these games. And it was at that time that something clicked in my head, that the Golden Sun community, though small in numbers, was still present and active, and I wanted to contribute something as well. Shortly after February 28th of 2023, I finally decided to take a break from my personal world-building project simply because I had been working on it for a number of years by that point, and I was feeling slightly burned out. Though I really liked what I had done, there were a number of issues that I wanted to iron out, and I needed a change of pace. And in order to do that, I wanted to work on an IP that wasn't my own, so I turned my attention to Golden Sun. For it is Golden Sun, along with Tolkien's Middle-earth and Lewis's Narnia, that inspired my love of fantasy cartography in the first place. And with the discovery of these amazing artists in 2020, and their music that had gotten me excited once again, I chose to rework Weyard. And with that, I endeavor and hope to use these amazing artists' music along with my work to show people just how great these games are. So, before I transition to your comments, I want to thank all of you who are involved in this community, and for those of you who have inspired me through your wonderful work. Thank you. For this video, YouTube user Kalam Nozales wrote, "A favorite that is pretty rare to hear normally is the Versus Battle Mode theme, along with the last round of the Super Lucky Dice song. Very simple, upbeat, and adrenaline-pumping track for 2 short and intense game modes. I like this. I don't know how many people would say that it's their favorite jam, but why not? It's a good song. Though, it's a pity that it's only used in an optional part of the game. As for the Super Lucky Dice song, it's short and sweet. Two others on YouTube, Rebirth and XX12XX, said that the theme for Lemuria was their favorite. Reaper wrote, "Tough to choose a favorite, but one of mine definitely has to be the theme for Lemuria. The melancholic music that plays throughout my exploration of the old city always gives me goosebumps." Keon12 shared, "Lemuria is such a mysterious place, so sad, and an ancient civilization in decline due to their old age and power. One of the last remnants before the alchemical sun is activated. They know the world is dying, like their civilization." Thank you all for your contributions for this video. It's been a lot of fun hearing from you. By the way, late in October 2023, I stumbled across this awesome discussion of the game's soundtracks on Reddit, and I encourage you to take a look at it if you want to look over other people's favorites. Links to it will be below in the description. Now, let's shift gears and let me share with you my choice for the top 5 soundtracks or covers from the games. And feel free to share your favorites down below with links if possible. I'd love to see what you guys like as well. At number 5, Lemuria. This is also one of my favorite tracks from the games. It has a certain quality to it that lends this mysterious location a distinct emotional or melancholy that resonates with me. To me, the track evokes a strong sense of the slow but inevitable decay all human civilizations come to face, all while enhancing the atmosphere of the location. If you've listened to my past videos, you will know that I believe that Lemuria is the embodiment of the lost age, and the music here gives us as a player a glimpse of the fate of the world if it continues on the path it's on. For me, not only is this melody memorable, but it's relatively easy to hum or whistle to, and that's something I find to be important. On top of that, I really like how so many people have breathed new life into it and have made it their own, enhancing the incredible melody and harmony written by Sakuraba-san over the years. At number 4, the Venus Lighthouse. Walking through the passageway from the tunnel ruins into the Venus Lighthouse, and you hear those first notes, you are certain that things are about to get serious. However, for me, it's Matt R.S. Battle's Rebirth of Venus that has struck a chord with me. Released in 2012, I don't think it was the first time the song was remixed, but it was perhaps one of the first remixes I listened to. And overall, I believe that its intensity hits the bullseye for what a remix can and perhaps should do. Rather than being a song that loops endlessly, there is a definite beginning and end. And it's a real headbanger, well, at least for me. And though Sakuraba-san's track is epic in its own right as it drives you on to the finish line, Matt's song adds just the right amount of intensity that leaves me wanting to listen to it again and again. At number 3, and for the bronze, Freezing Kalt. Again, I believe that music can and should have an emotional impact on you as an individual. For me, Freezing Kalt by Sakuraba-san accomplished this for me. It wasn't till my latest playthrough of the game that this track struck me for how much beauty there is in it. And so it was when I was visiting Southeast Angara Islet, that a deep sense of gratitude mixed with melancholia washed over me. All I was supposed to do was give a parrot a pretty stone in exchange for a red handkerchief. Instead, I had a lucid moment in which I saw just how short and precious life is, and that beauty can be found often in the most ordinary of places, and that we must be diligent, though, to look for these treasures. There will come a time when I play these games for the last time, and it will only be my memories of these games and the influence they've had on me that I'll be able to carry forward into the next chapters of my life. These adventures, the art, and the music will eventually fade, but I hope they will continue to contribute to my desire to create, inspire others, and shape who I am, and those I meet in some special way. And the runner-up for the silver, the elemental stars. After setting out on your adventure to explore Mount Aleph and getting a hang of the game's mechanics by completing the game's first dungeon, you find yourself in a room with a moon displayed on the floor with a beam of light hitting the back wall. Walking towards it, you examine it and are whisked away, and everything fades to black. When you arrive, you descend from a huge doorway into a dimly lit cavernous room. But it's the sound that first catches your attention. You aren't sure where you are just yet, but the music suggests that you've made it to a secret place. Once again, I want to thank those of you who are part of the Golden Sun community for your love of this song as well. As I mentioned before, Sam Dillard's music resonates with me, and I feel that his rendition of the Elemental Stars is quite remarkable. Not only is it faithful to Sakuraba-san's original work, his rendition achieves some level of haunting otherworldliness that adds to the gravitas of the situation you as a player find yourself in. Regardless if I'm listening to the original or Sam's cover, I love the layers to the song and how they are revealed build after build. I particularly like how Sam ends the piece on a note of triumph, yet somehow manages to evoke uncertainty as the music fades. And for the gold, set sail, the Karagol Sea. With a scent of salt and iodine in the air, the sharp cold wind at your back, the spray of the waves flecking your face, high adventures await. From the onset to this track, with horns blaring and drums and bass pounding, soar with goals and explore unfolding horizons as it drives you forward. The original still gives me goosebumps. However, it is Javier of Trilling Dragon's rendition that sticks out to me most. I appreciate how closely it follows the original, yet still manages to kick it up a level. Yet I think the pure brilliance of the piece is how it's been made into a medley with the inclusion of the first book as well as Full Speed Ahead, two of my other highly ranked themes, into something so beautiful, everything working so smoothly. And with that, those are my top 5 songs from the first 2 games at this time. And now, I think this is as good as a time as any. Before we end, I want to give a special thanks to Sakuraba-san. Thank you for your masterpieces. 本当にありがとうございました. And to all of you who have covered these works, another special thanks to all of you. If it wasn't for your work, I don't think I'd be undertaking this project. For those of you who have been following, it is my hope that the next video will be the last. I haven't been recording as much lately as I've been working on the icons for Weyard over the past 2 months. And essentially, once I have all of these done, and label things and do a few other odds and ends, I'd like to present what I have. Till then, as always, happy world building and blessings.